imagine screening and keeping everything going with 12 spots and you're only one person. That's why I work 17, 18 hours a day. I know you can relate to that. Because you got to be the videographer, photographer, you got to do the web designer, you got to do all the advertising guy, you got to be the marketing, the promotions, you got to be the security, the screening, the CPA, right? Yeah, everything. Yeah, I'm sure you do too, 25 hats, right? So that's why I tapped out as well. Anyway, it was enough money. After everything was paid, I put away 50 a week. So it wasn't bad. 5 days a week, but I worked Saturdays, right? Because Saturdays was for
accelerated degrees in cybersecurity at ECPI University. ECPI is a big draw.
For video shoots, photo shoots, interviews, and I did 2 or 3 per week. Always 2 or 3. I got my clients really hooked on new girls, so I had to make sure I keep that supply coming, just like a drug. Because to be honest with you, most of them were sex addicts, so they didn't know it. So Monday through Friday, I would wake up at 5, go to the gym, be in the office by 7, even around doing cardio and doing emails and setting up appointments and everything else. And by 11 o'clock, I had pretty much 70 or 80% of the bookings for the day for each girl. I would turn them over once I have the client see one girl or 2 girls or 3 girls, at least 2 or 3 times, and I know that they're our type of clients, meaning that they're professional, they're at the right age. I prefer them between 40 and 55 or 60. They're very nice. They treated the other 2 or 3 girls nice, and that they thought they were independent. I turned them over to my place was called OC Fund. So I turned them over to the one website where all the girls on that website, instead of just having a whole bunch of websites everywhere. This way it made it easier for them. Look, man, this is what's going on. We got together. Us girls got together. We put this together. Usually we have protected websites, very secure and safe, and you're a VIP now, which made it feel better. Exclusive club. And so it's really, all the girls under one roof. And it showed the schedule, the was working, so the guys they're all businessmen, all professionals, so they had to make sure that they can fit it in their schedule. They had a lot of doctors, they had about 500 doctors, I had maybe lawyers, I had a lot of entrepreneurs, CEOs, a couple of billionaires, a whole bunch of millionaires, and a lot of people, junior millionaires in that area. So I was really lucky. I ended up with 8,600 clients. 8,600? Yes. 12 places, 8,600 clients. So much fun.
And what percentage were there?
Of the clients? 99%. Maybe 99.3%. I don't know if it's over 99%. So, when I hired the girl, I made a deal with her. I'll give you an example. I had a girl that went to UCLA and she wanted to become a dentist. She owed $150,000 in student loans. And she really wanted to pay it off. This girl was gorgeous. She was a Victoria's Secret model. She was half Scandinavian, half Korean. Just gorgeous, tall, beautiful body, amazing. And I couldn't believe she was doing this. She was so gorgeous. And I said, okay, so let's call it, we're going to do this for a year, maybe 6 months, so she can only work 2 days a week. At the time, I was only working 2 days a week, but she can only work 2 days a week. I said maximum a year, maybe 6 months, get you in and get you out. And that's what I did with all the girls. You know, when we first hired them, okay, what do you need the money for? Make sure it's something positive. I'm not going to hire somebody that's on crack. I'm not being against anybody. I'm just not going to support bad habits. I had a really bad experience in Las Vegas, so I learned from my lesson to pay attention. And this is why I don't really like drugs in this business. So, each girl came in, we figured out what she needed the money for, how long it would take, just from experience. I got her in, got her out. Why? Because I noticed after years of this business that if a girl does it over a year, it's the point of no return of coming back to ever be able to be normal or do something else. It's really, it's this irreversible damage that happens to that person at that point. Plus the addiction to that kind of money, it's crazy. I mean, I'm addicted to that kind of money. So, to be honest. So I didn't want them to fall in that trap, so I always had good intentions towards them, and I wanted to make sure that I give them the best advice that I can as a friend, because I don't want the bad karma.
Let me guess. You're thinking about going to therapy, and as a therapist myself, of course I'm going to say that's a great idea. But first,
So, let's see, what else are we going to talk about? So basically, I ended up with 8,600 clients, 12 places, everything was going great. So mostly that's what I was dealing with. I kept it really honest. The clients were all happy. They couldn't believe they had such a safe environment for them to come to. Some really clean. All the places were decorated really nicely. Showers, everything, towels, everything was just beautiful. They had music in there, candles, incense, everything was perfect.
The girls were happy.
Girls were happy, clients were happy. I did that for 4.5 years. Finally, around May of 2000, remember I started in 2012, end of 2012, so around May of 2016, I started noticing weird stuff going on in the complexes, in the hallways and stuff. So I kept everybody on, I put out a bolo, be on the lookout, right? Because what happened was I was coming in at the end of the night and check on the places. I had all electronic locks. So once the girl left, I locked the doors remotely. And they all kept the money, whatever we told them. And I would go and check on the place and make sure everything's clean. They cleaned it up. They had a little procedure to do after they were done with the shift. And I would pick up the money and go. So I started noticing some weird stuff going on. And I'm always paranoid, of course, when doing something illegal. I'm always looking around, seeing what's going on. Something out of so we kept an eye out. Finally, around June 9th, 2016, I saw, a couple of girls told me they saw, when they came into work, they saw a couple of guys on different part of the complex. Now, these complexes have 1,000 apartments and 5 buildings in this particular complex. So I have one apartment here, and one this building, one apartment there, one apartment there. And it's funny because they all saw the same 2 guys at one point or another in the hallway. So I said, okay, I know what's going on. Because they were trying really hard to bust me from like a year and a half on. From 2014 on, they've been trying. And I have such a good screening system, they could not penetrate. Because what they try to do is they try to bust one girl. That's how they get in. And then that girl spilled the beans. And then the beans would tip me down. That's why I made sure that my screening system was, tip-top shape. So I decided to, after 4.5 years, I decided that I was enough. Now it's going to be post potential. I decided to shut it down. But however, and in December, I decided to come back because all these clients had over 900 emails after like 2 days because I didn't tell anybody that we shut down. The clients like, where are you at? What's going on? I was all over the board. Like there's a Yelp for this business called the Erotic Review, right? Where they review, they call them hobbies for clients. They review the girls and they go see us. So this way, if you want to see, Jackie, you just go and look it up, see what the other guys say about her. She's good, she's worth it, give her 1 to 10, all that stuff, details, juicy details, they call it. So we were all over the board. What happened to Receipt Fund? Oh my God. And I looked at the main email address. It was like over 900 emails just in like 2 days, right? I'm like, oh man. And they kept emailing. So I got rid of all the phones and everything, of course, for security purposes. Finally in December, I decided to come back, which was the worst mistake I ever made in my life. And I was already being followed, and they had GPS on all my cars. I already found the GPS on I had 3 cars, and they're all on my cars. My girlfriend was a dentist at the time. She didn't know anything. She didn't know my real name. I didn't tell her anything. I was struggling with it because we were together 3 years. I'm having this regular life here. Meanwhile, I'm doing all this stuff. She's thinking I'm doing this business here, and I got this office here, and meanwhile, I'm doing this, and there's no way I was going to tell her, right? Because I've been told them before. I wasn't trying to lie to her, but I just couldn't tell her. I didn't tell her my real name. I had a different ID, different name. And I found GPS. I took her cars to my buddy's garage. I found GPS on 2 cars. Found GPS on her cars too. Oh man, this is bad. So now that was basically a decision, right? Just like that movie Heat, within 30 seconds, what Bobby De Niro said, in 30 seconds or less, man, if you feel the heat around the corner, you gotta go, right? I'm like, okay, should I just take it run, or what should I do? Man, I'm with my girlfriend. She's got an 8-year-old. I'm having this family life here. I'm getting married. That's why these things don't mix. If you're gonna do something here, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do something here, you cannot have both. You can have your cake and eat it too. You cannot be a family guy here, and over here you're doing your POV videos and you're selling pussy all day, right? Excuse my friend. So I decided not to say anything, but I started again just with my OC County website, just with the clients I had. I picked like not even 1,000 clients, like 800 clients. I said, okay, those are the ones that spent at least $500 to $1,500 every time they came, you know? Our $500 an hour was our minimum. A lot of them just came, gave $1,000, $1,500, whatever. So I kept the top tier clients. And I only had about 18 girls working, and I went down to like 5 places or 6 places, I forgot. And kept it small, and I said, you know what? I started seeing things, I started seeing from the conference, it's not worth it. So I said January 31st, I said, if this doesn't, I don't feel comfortable about it.
When it comes to tabloid washers, one size does not fit all. That's why Steve is committed to offering a wide range of products.
And I told some clients and some girls, well, guess what happened January 31st? Here I am walking out of my girlfriend's house in the door. And by the way, you can Google my name, this is all over the news, right? January 31st, 2017. I just got back from the gym. Looking down the street, I saw this SUV, this black SUV. I can tell it doesn't belong there. But she lives in a really nice area. I knew who's what. I said, oh man, and it's all tinted windows, and I could from the front, I could see people just sitting in there. I'm like, oh no, this is not good. So I walked in the house. Now what do? Long story short, I walk out about 15 minutes later, I thought it was going to matter. And captured as much evidence as I can. I didn't have that much in her house. And sure enough, here comes 22, 23 cops from everywhere. Get down, this guy over here on the left, I never forget this guy, it's in my book too. That's how I opened the book. He said freeze, and he had a machine gun on it, and he was so adrenaline, because they get, adrenaline, right? They get so excited. He was shaking like this. I thought he was going to shoot me. I'm like, whoa, we'll take it easy, man. Here I am, I'm getting arrested, I'm supposed to be nervous, right? But unfortunately, I'm used to those situations before, right? I've been to SWAT teams and all that stuff. I said, man, take it easy. You're shaking so hard right now, it's going to be okay. Here I am, I'm telling him it's going to be okay, right? I said, do not pull that trigger, man. Because, they got something, right? Because, they obviously, look what we got going on now, right? No. The other guy, he was sit down. I'm like, there was like, raining a little bit, so the ground was wet. And I got my car in front of the house. My thing was, I'm going to get in the car, go on my station so I have a stash of money, and go down south and just chill out, go to Rita Reese or something, and just chill out, I'm SL63, so I'm like, okay, I know I can get into the border. There's 12 cylinder, right? And, of course, I didn't make it to the car, even though it was like 10 feet away from the front door. So I said, okay, so I did the kiss the ground, and You know, the guy's trying to put the, I'll tell you the story. The guy's trying to, I was 265, right? Really big. Always 265. And the guy's trying to put my arms behind my back, trying to handcuff me with one handcuff. And it wasn't so big. It was like stops right here, you know? I'm like, man, what are you trying to do? Like, get my, shoulders out of my socket or something? Just put another one on there. I'm trying to tell the guy how to do his job. So just